So I've made a video similar to what I'm going to talk about today, which is the fat to protein ratio video, but this one is more targeted for people who are wanting to lose weight. So there are so many different theories as to which the best method is. Should I do protein sparing modified fast? Should I do high fat, lower protein? Should I do carb cycling? The answer is whatever you need to do to support your hormones, because when you have healthy hormones, you will become a fat burning machine. The problem with our society is that our grocery stores are filled with foods that are laden with seed oils, processed chemicals, junk that really affect our mitochondria. And basically we become metabolically inflexible. When you achieve metabolic flexibility, this means that your body has the ability to jump between burning glucose for fuel and burning fat for fuel easily. When you are not metabolically flexible, you might experience things like low blood sugars, insulin resistance, hypoglycemia, low blood sugars, lethargy. Honestly, you'll have more cravings. Basically, you are dependent every 4 hours to get your sugar, because that's what your body is depending on. There also may be situations where someone has been in ketosis for so long and they haven't had carbs for so long that when they do eat them, they have a bad reaction. They kind of shock the pancreas. When you're on a ketogenic diet or a zero carb, low carb approach, your pancreas, which is what produces insulin, kind of goes into hibernation mode. Now, low insulin is the key to healing and basically all of our goals. Lower insulin. You do need insulin for a lot of good things, but hyperinsulinemia is generally a problem. Definitely with America, with obesity, heart attacks, even mental health can be so much exacerbated by hyperinsulinemia. The key here is to become metabolically flexible. I don't think that long-term ketosis is really necessary. Some people might do really well with carbs because they sleep better at night. Carbs can help to lower cortisol. They can help to lower and offset inflammation after a hard workout. They can really help to improve recovery. For me personally, they don't. And I've tried them. So I became fat adapted, and fat does a lot of the same things that carbs can do for your body. Fat will support your thyroid. Fat will help you to produce serotonin, melatonin. Fat is what your brain runs on. Fat, the right type of fat, is anti-inflammatory, and it also helps your mitochondria to function optimally. Fat is a precursor to all of your sex hormones. So if you've got low testosterone or high estrogen, eating the right animal fats are really going to help you to get into a better place with that. And at the same time, reducing the seed oils and the processed foods and maybe the excess carbs or sugar. I really do think that most people, if you're coming from the standard American diet, you'll probably do well just cutting out some of your carbs. I don't think you need to go zero carb, but most people that I work with are dealing with a lot more than just a concern to lose weight. But with excess weight usually comes a lot of other issues, because again, hyperinsulinemia is at the root. If you want to learn more about insulin, my recommendation is Dr. Ben Bikman. He is one of my favorite people to listen to. He is clearly a genius, very smart. He also puts things into terms that are easy for people like me to understand. You know, he can talk about something that I've never heard of before and I can understand it the first time through. He's really great at that, and he knows his stuff. So he helped me to understand that I needed to eat more protein to become more insulin sensitive. High fat is really a craze right now, and I'm not dissing it, but I will say that there's a proper time and place for high fat or higher protein. High fat is a great way to heal your hormones. I had to do 4-to-1 fat to protein at one point to support my hormones where I was at. I was a wreck. My hormones were practically non-existent, actually. I was very insulin resistant because I was so underweight, didn't have enough body fat on my body to support healthy metabolism, healthy hormones, anything. On top of that, my central nervous system was just constantly fight-flight mode. I was running on adrenaline. So I really needed high fat to come in to support my body, to tell my body that it was in a safe place, not in starvation mode, to feed my hormones, to fuel my brain. Fat was key, high fat. But as I healed, as I reversed Hashimoto's, regular hypothyroid, chronic CDiff, chronic Lyme disease, crest scleroderma, fibromyalgia, ulcerative colitis, as I reversed these things and my hormones became healthy, I didn't need so much high fat. And as I got more healthy body fat on my body, I didn't crave as much fat because I was fat adapted. My body doesn't know the difference between the fat on my body or the dietary fat that I'm eating when I'm fat adapted. So when I lower the fat and eat higher protein cuts, which is what I started craving about a year into my healing journey, I did a high protein experiment. And I chose foods that I wouldn't choose today, like turkey, but now many days I'm eating higher protein than fat in the form of veal or goat or lamb leg steaks. Those are pretty lean, and I feel optimal because I have healthy amounts of body fat on my body. So the closer you get to your goal of whatever leanness your goal is, the more fat you will need to maintain healthy hormones. But at the same time, if you're healthy enough to where your body knows to burn its own fat, you don't need to throw on 2 sticks of butter every day. You don't need to. Now, you can. If you feel so much better with extra fat, added fat, and lowering your protein, then by all means do it. Do what feels best to you. But know this, when you go low protein for a long period of time, you will start catabolizing your own lean muscle. So my personal recommendation is 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight. That's enough to support your lean mass that you want to keep. The bare minimum that I personally recommend and that I have researched is 0.8 times your lean body mass. So 0.8 times your lean body mass is the bare minimum amount of protein that you need to consume to maintain your current lean body mass. I don't think going lower than that is wise. Now, if you are fat adapted and your body can run on fat, then going lower than that I don't think is as dangerous as someone who relies on glucose eating low protein. Because think about it, if your body relies on glucose and you run out of glucose, your body is going to next turn to your lean muscle for fuel. It will turn to catabolism. But when you are fat adapted and your body runs out of fuel, it turns to your own body fat. So ketones and being fat adapted is muscle sparing. So step 1, take the time to become fat adapted and to support your hormones. I think that most of us are in this place when we want to lose weight. So I do recommend that you go high fat for a period, but that doesn't mean it's the end all be all. As you heal and as you change, theoretically, what works best for you should also change. So I just want to encourage you guys to think about where you're at in this season of life. Think about your hormones and pay attention to what you feel best doing. Don't be afraid of protein. I think that protein gets such a bad rap. I can eat and eat and eat protein and I only feel better. But there was a time in my life where I couldn't eat more than 35 grams of protein without my blood sugar spiking. I was that metabolically inflexible. It's changed as I have healed. So I just want to encourage you to think for yourself and understand that there are steps. There are precursors. You have to support your hormones before you want to lose weight. Don't worry about the calories. Focus on your hormones first. And then you might consider slowly lowering calories, even just a little bit. There's never any need for any human being to eat under 1,500 calories to lose body fat. Seriously. If you are hormonally healthy and in a good place, you do not need to cut that much. Now, I'm not against protein sparing modified fast. That's essentially when you're eating enough protein for your body but not a lot of fat. It ends up being around 800 calories. Some people do that for 1 or 2 days per week. That's a great way to shed body fat if you're fat adapted. But I think a even more maintainable way would be to just lower your calories by maybe 20 to 50 calories per week. that's nothing. I've worked with many people to lose body fat, to lose weight, without ever getting into any type of range of low calories. But first, you have to be fat adapted. So that's the key. Support your hormones, focus on your hormones, and the rest will follow. If you want sustainable, healthy weight loss where you feel good and you don't end up in a massive caloric deficit where you're just going to gain the weight back when you start eating enough food again, then you've got to focus on your hormones.